you have a long strap that you can, I don't know if you can see this, but I'll bring it closer. I've got a tiny little loop. So it would be maybe the diameter is 4 or 5 inches. Just enough that I can, when everybody gets ready and we get into standing, I can loop it around my foot handily like that. And so that's what we're doing. And the strap should be pretty long so that it's, I want to say mine's my wingspan or my arm span plus. If you don't have a super long strap, it's a really good investment. I just use a boat strap. I know there are a couple people that row, and you can just get a boat carrying strap, kayak strap. In some ways, they're better than the yoga straps because you can just quick release and switch how big the diameter of the closed end is. So that's what we're going to be doing. We have a couple minutes, and the only other prop you might need is a roll towel as usual, because we're going to roll out the ribs and the back a little bit before we start. For most people, a noodle size, 2-inch, 3-inch in diameter is sufficient, which can also be used to either sit on or clip the shins and then drag the towel down the shins, pulling the ends in above the ankles, lifting and gliding the sit bones back to come seated. That's if your knees don't readily part. But you can also just sit on the horseshoe of the towel if that's more comfortable for you. So all sorts of options. And we are going to start seated. If it's really hard for you to sit with the legs crossed, you could go to Virasana or even sit in a chair. So nobody's watching to call out the yoga purists. And so let's get started. And this should be fun. It's going to be a little bit technical with the strap work, but I think it's going to be really useful in connecting some of the dots. So get situated, and it's great to feel, whether you're in a chair or on your mat, these sitting bones, and just shift from left to right a little bit. And as you do that, if you can close your eyes and just feel not only the sit bones, the pelvic halves, but the rib cage above it, which is attached by the spine to the pelvis, but the ribs can float. So if you were to take your hands now and just take them to the low ribs and just feel how they wing out one way and the other way, just C-shaping. Inhale to one side, exhale. So since I have some of my ocean-going friends with me, you can think like a fish. And often when you get stuck, literally and figuratively, emotionally, I find myself, curiously enough, wanting to do this swiveling motion. But we can also, before we get going, keeping the hands on the ribs or just feeling, we can hula hoop. Now this is assuming that your seat, your hips are grounded and the legs are relatively relaxed. So again, if you need to be in a chair as you hula hoop, you can do this with the eyes closed, the eyes open, but sense the inner perimeter It might be a bit of an oxymoron, but the inside rim of the ribs, even though you're holding the outer rim. And so now we're making a complex motion. You can play around being organic. Look to the back. But you see how this wheel of the rib cage is important. And then take the hands down and close the eyes. Take a few breaths and see how maybe just by moving side to side like a fish and then circling has opened to some degree the ribs, and particularly the back ribs, which are forgotten as important breathing assistants. Palms to the heart, and give an om, give a howl, give a hum, depending on your mood. But bring some sound into your body, bring some vibration. Inhaling. Om. It's interesting with the om, in a very pragmatic way, that the sound moves from the back of the palate to the front, where you So it's like an evolution. And also, if you're energetically tuned from the base of the spine up to the top. Did you feel that? And did you feel the vibration of the ribs like xylophone keys? Maybe not. Let's try it again. Ready? Inhale. All the ribs filling, and then can you vibrate the ribs? Om. Release. Opening the eyes. So now, being in touch with your ribs, let's glide forward on inhale, gently pulling against the knees. Exhale, gently pushing. And don't let the arms start to overrule the sensitivity in the ribs as they move and glide with the pelvis. In complex movements, pelvis arching and then tilting. And the ribs moving, the head can follow suit like a wave, or like the top of the wave, cresting on the inhale and then rolling over on the exhale. Keep going, I'm just going to shut off my other monitor so we don't lose speed. Okay, so it's really important, especially with your morning body, to move your ribs and your spine. And then arrive at center again and feel, as you close your eyes, the awareness in the front ribs, the awareness in the back ribs. So depending on your posture, you could be a schlumper or an overarcher. And you want to try and find that happy middle ground from extension flexion. Let's take a little twist over to the right and take the opposite hand to knee lift, and then exhale. Look down at your hip bone on that side and push it into the ground. Take a little look toward me, keeping your twist, and let the back arm come up and over. And now you can feel the upper rib cage stretch a little. Even take your hand to your head. Stretching the tricep. So now we start to feel in the body maybe that the lat and the lateral body is important to opening the ribs. And we're going to work with strengthening and stretching. And then inhale, come up and cross diagonally over. Lower arm comes up under the upper arm and start to move in flexion and extension, maybe rocking on the hips, lifting the elbows. And now we're just stretching the rhomboid between the shoulder blades. A little bit in the levator muscles. And release that. Let's just go to the other side. Opposite hand to knee. Lift and fill the ribs. Exhale, rotation. Take a peek down at the hip that you're twisted toward and put some weight into it. So remember, the hips and the lower part of the body have to be rooted for you to safely work above. And then we'll take the back hand up and over, stretching. We can even do a little extra with the weight of the head, clipping the fingers, stretching the tricep. Steady breath. Come back to vertical, cross diagonally over, lower arm, clips up. You can't do this, you just take the hands to the shoulders, lift, and round. And let the hips move a little bit, like the cat and cow pattern. Let's release that and see if we can come to Virasana, which is not entirely accessible for everybody, but you can modify it in certain ways. You can take your towel, drop it between the calves and sit on it and get an additional working of the calves open, going from side to side. Or you can just sit in a chair. Lastly, you can take the long towel roll between the knees. Now we're going to take our straps and just start to open the arms a little bit. And we're going to take the strap up and behind the body on inhale and exhale forward. So we're still going to play with extension and flexion. If this seated pose, Virasana, which is hero pose, which everyone needs to be these days, is inaccessible, just sit in a chair or keep cross-legged, but we're going to start to work against the strap and open, not to the point where you could easily go down behind you. So feel the shoulders expanding. Maybe the head comes up a little bit. Just getting warmed up, and then let's hold this position here and try to open the armpits. So the pec minors, the front of the shoulder, are opening. The shoulder blade tips are drawing down. Take a peek down at your frontal ribs and see if you can just engage your pelvic floor to take them down. Good, and then can you slide the strap behind your back, just drop it for a second onto the ground, and then take the strap like so with the palms facing forward, like you're going to use it like a shower, après shower, back scrubbing, and we can just scrub this part of the mid-back a little bit. And we can go from left to right and start to feel how doing twists are helped or hindered by the operation of these muscles in the back. So can you start to take this a little bit further? Push one arm forward on the diagonal, like that. And then can you push, like that. I'm going to start to cross-country ski your way. Then we'll take the strap under the armpits a little higher. We've done this before. Take the strap loop between the thumb and the index finger and get a little lift. Lift the chest. By lifting the back ribs, you can even come off of your Virasana and just get a nice long reach. One more. Come down and cross the strap in front of you. Little cross. But leave room for your head to duck through. And then when you get the strap behind you, you're going to just pull the strap ends. And so I've got the loop in the back of my skull, the occiput. And now I could lean back with into these crossed or diagonal straps as the Delta Airlines, maybe American Airlines headrest. Or I could come up and just lift the shoulder blades up and then exhale, lay the head back. Still pretty early in class, so don't overdo. And then let's come down, the chin forward, uncross for the moment. So for the moment, let's leave the strap aside. We're gonna work a little more with our towel roll on those ribs, since it's part of our practice today. And if you are near a wall, it will be helpful later, but if not, no problem. And you're gonna glide yourself down onto that towel roll with your shoulder blade tips touching the towel roll. You can take your hands, flip your head and place the head down, bring the arms wide and stretch the legs long. If this is too much of a back bend, for some of you it might be. Others are saying this is too easy and you can go a little more, but be modest. Toning the backs of the legs now. And by pushing them into the ground, letting the arms be open. And let's slide one foot under one knee, the other foot under the other knee for a wide-legged bridge pose. And the palms are to the sky. As you inhale, just let the chest open, and exhale, guide the knees to the left, look right. Inhale to center, switch. Glide the knees to the right, look left. And so all you're doing with long draw of breath, inhale and exhale, is rolling across that band of muscle. Probably the medial trap, rhomboid, and just giving it some attention, some love. And as we've done before, you can start to accentuate the psoas stretch by pushing on the diagonal with the upper knee. So newcomers, if I drop my wide-spaced feet and knees to the left, I start to push with the right knee to the back left corner of the mat. When I roll the knees to the right, I start to push and lengthen the left knee to the back right corner of the mat. Okay? So a couple more times, and then we're just going to work a little more connecting the pieces with the arms, rolling the knees to the left, bring the right arm up to the sky, and grab the right wrist with the left hand, start to pull, lengthen to that right arm and pull it over to the left, letting the head roll to the left, and just get a stretch in the back of the shoulder blade. And let's go to the other side, coming to center, and then dropping the knees to the right, and reaching the left arm up to the sky, getting some length, grabbing the left wrist with the right hand, just pulling it over to the right. So you can do that again, or use any organic movements. In the past, I've played air guitar. Instead of pulling the wrist, I just start to roll and make a big circle with the arm, the upper arm, up and over, like I'm doing some sort of weird swimming stroke. Just feel the shoulder capsules, feel the hip capsules, and warming up. That's good. So can we roll off to the, or over to the right, and take the towel roll under the right lat, the lat muscle, which goes all the way down the back as we explored last week. So you could come up, this is Anandasana. You could come up with your head under your occiput, like that, or you could stay low. I think in this particular case, coming up high is advantageous. Or even taking the forearm behind the head and just kind of leaning back into it. Get a little stretch of the subscap. So again, we're just playing in here, and we can take this pose deeper to its classic stage by bending the left knee. Really what we're after is just stretching the lateral body, but if you want to take the full expansion of the pose, it will come in handy later to feel this lateral stretch when we do extended leg, when we do Trikonasana. And you could be just drop down like so. It's good. So can you roll onto your belly and crawl your forearms back toward you? Easy cobra. And then bring your palms together. Drop your head down. Just feel the front ribs getting pushed in a little by the towel roll. Lift one leg and the other leg like you're flutter kicking. Just tone the backs of the legs. Just a few inches will do. Let's just roll right over to the other side and take the towel roll to the left lap. Stack right leg over left. See if you can get the hand to the back of the head or lay the forearm. And if you're really sore from doing garden work, rowing, you can roll on that towel roll. You can be organic, or you can start to come into the yoga pose known as Anandasana. And you feel the pressure into the mat. And if you're balanced enough, you either use your strap, your little loop that we have, or use your first two fingers. So the strap loop here could be a handy tool. Depending on your geometry, flexibility, and thinking of a little bit of the lateral poses, Trikonasana, etc. Okay? So again, just warm up. Let's roll onto our bellies again. Easy cobra. And then take the palms together, lay the head down, feel the pressure on those front ribs. Now can you take the head completely down to the floor and the hands out to the sides of the towel roll, and maybe up onto the towel roll if you're more advanced. Inhale, just lift the head up 2 inches, and exhale, put it down. And just try this very subtle movement of just the first motion of lifting up toward cobra and then setting it down. And you could come up a little higher, but keep the head down until about midway, and then things reverse. For some of you, this is too much early, so you just stay with the preliminary, which is halfway up and down. Right about here again, we'll reverse the curve. Let's come back to child's pose, and we can drag our towel with us and place the towel first for the head and the arms broadly. Coming up and taking the towel roll in Virasana into the belly, unless this is uncomfortable for you, make a little sandwich to feel our hip flexors getting a little bit of love. Advanced students could curl the toes under and try to keep the towel roll in a downward dog. Pulling it into the belly, you can bend the knees and start to tone and tune Uddiyana Bandha. And then drop the towel roll down, come down to hands and knees. And let's warm up a little bit more, clipping along here today with one of my standard fares for the shoulders. Similar now to what we did with the strap when we were going up and down, but now we're just going forward and back. And feeling, as we do this, the connection of the arms and the muscles around the arms to the ribs. So not only the front ribs opening, but can you feel the back ribs that we touched? Especially as you go to the diagonal. And as you work to the diagonal, you can take a little head turn toward the other arm. Okay, a little twist, almost as if I was going to come through like so and go into a twist. All sorts of games for organic movement. Let's all try that twist just to further warm up the shoulders by taking the towel roll to the floor and take the hands forward of it, hands and knees, cat and cow. If you don't have a wooden floor, please get one. Just easy. If you don't have a wooden floor, then don't use your towel. If you have a carpet, just take your arm to it. We're going to take the right forearm down, and as we inhale, we're going to just push the towel roll through, and exhale, come back. And just do this a few times, and using pressure on inhale to glide through and back. Try the other side. Back of the hand, left hand, and glide through, and then back. Good. One more, and then we'll move on to the goodies. So, also for the shoulder and the ribs, can you come to hands and knees and take the towel into your left hand and just lift it, inhale, and then come down. So, this is building the muscle in the back of the shoulder. If it's too much or it's weak, this is something to take note of. Let's switch hands and just go up. So the only time people do this is in triangle pose, or when they're about to thread the needle. So now we can combine the threading of the needle motion with the opening the arm. So I had you kind of drag under, dip, and then come up like you're throwing the towel up, and dip, and come up, okay? And just feel that connection. Don't overdo it. There's tenderness in the shoulder from injury, then go easy. So under, the other side now, and up. Good, okay, let's move on. And unfurl your towel. And let's take a downward dog, placing the hands, spreading the fingers. So we did the other day, a little outward rotation of the palms, and up you come. So see if you can bend your knees and lengthen the back ribs. Open where we had our towel roll forward to the fingers. And then exhale, try to straighten the legs as much as you can. Inhale forward to high push-up and back to downward dog. And then let's walk the hands back to the feet. Take a forward fold, you can bend your knees. Slowly come up with a rounded spine, bent knees to standing. So you should be getting a little bit warmed up, but let's do one last thing for the mid-back. We've been working that. We were on our backs getting a nice arch, but with the flexion piece of it, it's actually a little bit harder to feel. So There's a couple ways to do a forward fold. One would be to take the towel roll to your low back like that and just bend your knees and kind of feel this sliding of the towel roll toward the tailbone. This could also be done in child's pose for people that have low back misery, just pressing the towel roll down. But if that's pretty good and you have a wall, you can lean into the wall or even take your towel roll artfully up your back to the mid-back, the shoulder blades, and see if you can bend your knees, walk into the wall, drop the head, and then get that towel roll as you walk in closer. This is requires a little skill between you and the wall, and just push into the wall. The towel roll doesn't comply. Just use the wall to shimmy and put some pressure into the mid-back. So knees can be bent. We've done the hip lifting of the heels up and down to scrub the mid-back and forward fold. Again, just to kind of lengthen that fascia from the mid-back to the top of the skull. Back away from the wall when you're done. Come up like a chimpanzee. So it's not always bad to stretch in this way. So now that we're standing, you could do that by just doing what we did on our back and pulling the right wrist over to the left. So we did that already. And you're stretching the whole lat a bit. Really good. Now find your strap and we'll do some work with the strap. So we could take the strap behind our backs as we did before and take it forward like we're scrubbing a towel, right? And then come to the front of your mat. So we've done this with a closed loop before, but now we're going to work with open loop. So if you expand your wings, you can see how I've got the strap in my, between my thumb and my index finger. If I open my wings and I tone my legs, and I think like a figurehead on a ship, you should feel the opening of the chest. And then bring the strap forward and up and sit into your Utkatasana. You can look up. And then come to standing and drop the strap down your back and just stand on it with the heels. Reach down, bending your knees to shorten the strap, and then drag with the arms. We drag long as the legs tone. So now we're creating a coherency between the lower and the upper body. Can we do that again? Step forward. Take the strap up the back to clip the shoulder blade tips. Roll the knuckles, the inner wrist to the sky. And just pull out gently. Open the chest. Ah. And then come forward, bend the knees, hoist up the mainsail. Breathe. Come up, inhale, drop the strap down, exhale, one more. Stand on the strap with the heels and the knees to hike the hands down, and then pull and drag the arms long, hugging the arm capsules, shoulder capsules inward. And don't tighten your throat if possible. It's hard to be rigid in some areas, but not in others. One more, just for fun. And all this is isometric work. Come up the back, push out, tone the legs, tailbone down, inner thighs roll back. Hands come forward. As you lift the arms, you sink the hips. Look up. And then come up. Drop the strap down the back. Now it gets a little more interesting. So let's step back with our strap. And we're going to stand on only with one foot. Let's choose the left foot. So it's just in the arch, just in the stirrup if you're a horsewoman. I think Krista's here, she's a horseback rider. And then see if you can step forward with the right foot. So now we're gonna crawl our fingers down the strap and shorten it. And we've got open arms, a little bit back. And now what are we gonna do? We're gonna square the hips, bend the front knee, drop the head and hang, just hang out. Can you feel that stretch? You're strengthening the back leg, so tone that left hand knee. Bend the right knee and just stretch the fascia that we're trying to get to in forward fold. Now pull on the strap as you inhale and straighten the front leg. Exhale, bend, round. Get the picture? Inhale and exhale. So I'm strengthening the extensors in the back, and then I'm lengthening, stretching. So this game can be played for a while. But for the moment, let's see if we can step the feet together, switch to the other foot, the heel, and we'll have the right heel back, slightly turned out like a warrior one. But few people in warrior one ever get this sense of the back connection. You can put the foot to the wall, it's true, but we're trying to feel the entire structure of the dorsal sheath, which is to say the back of the back leg and all the way up the fascia of the back to the crown of the head, right over the skull as you drop, exhale, and then you pull, bend your elbows. So we're at the gym now. One more. Okay, and let's carefully step the feet together and step on the strap with both. Lift. And then release. So let's take this a little bit further and let's go back to side one. And this time, what we're going to do is, if you have it, take your little loop and take the left foot into it. And so now we're going into the stirrup of the leg. Same thing, except now we're going to take both hands to a single strap. I've played with doing this both ways, and you can play at home once you learn this. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to dip and bend in the front leg and hang. So we're hanging on the cord. If we're a mountain climber, we can hang out. But we're also using our arms to pull up and open the chest on the inhale. Isn't that fun? Hopefully so. But now it gets a little more fun because we can take that strap and hold it in the left hand and open the right arm, adjusting the back foot a little bit out and just start to slide down into a version of triangle pose in which you just release the neck. Don't even bother to look up, just let the neck stretch. And then inhale, come up. So far, so good? So now let's take the strap around the front of the body. And can we get some length with the right arm reaching like that. Now can we take the strap around the right hip like that? And this is where it gets tricky. So take the, and the left hand goes back behind the body and catches it. So we've got it here. So you can either have the arm extended, but I'd rather, if you can, if it's not bothering your shoulder, to just pull on the strap like so. Reach the right arm forward and come down into triangle pose. The same thing, we can just drop the head, or we can start to pull on the strap and rotate from that pull. And that's where the left arm could slide up and extend. We're connecting the dots because now the strap is helping support the lower ribs. Move the legs apart. And then coming up. Let's try the other side. A little tricky, but once you get it, and I'll record it. Super fun. So now the strap's in the right foot. And we're going to just hold the strap down low in the right hand, left hand out. And we're setting up Trikonasana. So reach forward. You need to bend the front knee. You can. You're not going to get to your full drop. And you're just looking down at your left toes and stretching the upper trap and sternomastoid muscle on the right side. Now you come up and we can take the strap forward in the left hand like that and wrap it behind the back so that the right hand catches it. Ultimately, that right arm is going to be lifting up like that. But it's nice if you can just start with the wrapping and pulling back at this hip. As you come down, you're pulling that hip back and then launching the right arm. Okay. And let's step the feet together. And just take the strap aside for a moment. And let's take a forward fold to restore symmetry. So now without any strap work, feel the expansion of the arms. And can you feel the strap work in play? Bend the knees and cascade down. Giving the head a shake. Lifting up from those hip creases, whether the knees are bent or not. So the strap being in the arch of the foot gives it a lift up. And let's place our hands, walk back to high plank and downward dog just to stretch it out. Come back, feet to hands, lengthen to a flat back with the hands on the shins, and forward fold. Bending the knees, come up through chair, and then standing. So hopefully you're starting to feel some sensations. But regather your strap, and let's take this a little further, if we can. It's exploration, and we'll take the strap, loop into the left foot again, set it up, and take our warrior two stance. So the back foot's heading toward 90. So remember what we did earlier. We took the strap around the front of the body this way. So can we do that again for the moment? And if you can get the left hand around and then sink into a lunge. So you can let the strap slide as much as you want just to clip the hip and hold it in place, and then you can come into your side angle. So you're creating somewhat of a little hold and gets you to pull that right hip back into the center line. Take it as deep as you want. It's not a big deal. And then come up. Now we'll reverse this a little. So take the strap back and around the back to the back. So now what's going on this morning? Hopefully you had your coffee and you're able to see. So now instead of coming across the front of the body, I'm behind the body, and my right hand is taking the strap. Even if you just feel this attenuation as I try to extend the right arm and tighten the strap, I'm connected through the back of the leg. But if we were to move the arm across the body, inhale, open behind, and then move across and wrap the right ribs like that. How does that feel? So this action is similar to what we did with the towel roll in hands and knees when they have you threading the needle and then launching the muscles that hold the back extender. But now we're trying to connect the dots. So get over to about here and now let the left hand hold the strap. Let it come down to about, low ribs, and then start to pull in the triangle pose, hoisting or supporting the lower ribs. How does that feel? And then come up. Let's turn the front toes to the back and then shimmy the feet in toward one another. Let's try the other side. So mainly, just feeling these attenuations, strapping the right foot. Take your warrior two stance. And remember, we came across the front of the body before. And we started by clipping front of the hip. And then the right hand reaches and gets a handhold and just start to lunge like a fencer on guard. And then spiral the chest to the right. And you can just create enough awareness or pull into the hip crease that as you come into side angle, the right hand's pulling you out of the pose. Pulling you out of the pose. Let's switch with the strap around the back and now taking it across these ribs. And the left arm extends. So we made a connection to the left arm and the right leg. So we open, inhale, and then start to wrap over to the right. So you can see this strap around my back, connecting the dots, wrapping. So I'm getting isometric work here. And moving the ribs. So you can just stay with that if you're a beginner, or transfer when you wrap the ribs to the right. Transfer the right hand and just let that strap come down a little bit. Even if you just stay here, that will be fine. But if you want to come into triangle pose here, you're getting a little lift to the underside ribs and lengthening. Good? Okay, turn the feet to parallel and let's face the wall now. Since we were working on that side with the right foot on the strap, we can start with that. And if you have a wall, you're going to use it. If you don't, you could use a chair or some combination of both. We did this last week, so a little bit of repeat, but you're going to just gingerly Step your right foot onto the chair and then try to get it on the top of the chair. So you can bend the right knee like that, set it up. I'm into the wall, but I might also have the heel on the chair. And then I can reach for the strap loop. Advanced students, of course, you could go much higher up, but it's actually cheating because it's easier. Now we're going to just start to bend that right knee, that wall knee, and turn the left toes out to the side aspect. And you guessed it, we're going to reach to the strap, whichever length of arm you have. I like to hook my fingers in the strap loop, and now I can just hang like we did earlier, like I'm just hanging and extending the arms as we did before with a slightly different sensation. So the right hip is strong to the wall, to the foot, and then I reach back. Advanced students could even take the strap behind the back, like that, and have a double action. Okay, so let's switch, bending the right knee, hop down, hoppity hop, and then you can hop your left foot to the wall, to the top of the chair, strap loop. Leg goes as high as you want or as low as you want, and you can have that knee bent, doesn't matter. I like to hook my fingers in the loop. So we're going to just turn the right toes out, keep the knee on the wall bent, and then I'm going to extend. Remember all this work we did in the front hip creases, so there should be a lot of sensation opening, and now I hang out. And just enjoy it. So the arms are opening, toning the back extensors, backs of the legs are toning, but don't choke yourself with your tense tongue. Just breathe into it like a starfish. Advanced students, again, you can take the strap behind your back, catch it with the right hand, and get a little more rotation. Don't overdo the joint capsules. Bend the wall knee, gingerly unhook, come back, and for a moment just stand and feel the sensations. It should feel nice. I'm nodding my head to try and get you to agree. So let's do a little bit of work with the quads and take the strap aside for the moment. Regain your towel roll. If you have a wall, you can face it. And we're going to be kneeling on the towel. If you don't have a towel roll, you could be working with a chair. And you could be, instead of having hands to wall, you could be, as we come into our low lunge, with the right foot forward, the left knee comes onto the towel roll. You could be working on the chair like that. But it's much better to have the wall. Now, for the towel roll, you could be bundling it a little bit bigger, and so that what you're aiming for is to get the quadricep on top of it. And then the hands go to the wall and just create a little pressure. Drop the hips equally down and don't go too much. Just work the breath. Now remember what we did earlier in class, we took the diagonal stretch so I could start to walk the left hand up and over to the right, take a peek to the right. And go easy. and that quad. Inch by inch. And then how about this? Either just take the hands down inside the foot and wing it out, wing the knee out, or come into a half pigeon near the wall. Toe heel in the right, toes over to the left, and go back and sit on your towel roll, right? This is for the advanced students. The others, just be in your low lunge, letting your right knee wing out. So I'm on my towel roll, and if it feels okay, I push into the wall. Remember how I had you drop the head in Cobra for the preliminary to get the seat of the pose. Now, if you're cursed with flexibility, you can reach back. Left hand, catch that left foot. You can even start to bow toward the wall, drag the heel toward you. That's not enough sensation. That's all a little more for the advanced folks. So let's see if we can make our way back to a downward dog wherever you are. And then drop down to your knees. Let's try that low lunge on the other side. So I get in pretty close, and I want to, some people often try to take the whole patella to the towel. But really what you want is the quad as you lunge into the wall, and then you get a little pressure into the quad. Go easy. You want to walk the hands a little bit on the diagonal. The right hand reaches up, you rotate. And we've done all this work in the ribs. So the ribs and the hips. Play with it more if you want. Otherwise, the hands could come down to the ground. You could just, if you're a beginner, try to take your left knee out to the side. That's it. Otherwise, you toe heel left foot across to the right, and you sneak back and sit on your towel roll. So you get some connection to Mula Bandha. So your first goal is just to stabilize the hips. Second goal, maybe you can do wall crawl and push back against the wall, drop the head, satisfy the hips. You could reach back. Advanced students grab the back foot and take this pose. It's like a Natrojasana or Ekapada Raja Kapatasana. Even drag the foot down, dropping the head. Good. So make your way to your final downward dog, wherever you are, or child's pose. And then let's have a seat. And Dandasana. So the palms by the hips. And so classically, this is the launch pad to do some of the work we did this morning, which is to open the chest, to tone the back extensors. But we did more pulling action behind us. So if you can take the backs of the wrists to the ground and lift the chest. You might feel a slightly different stretch. And then start to take whatever you can Forward fold, you can use a strap to bend the knees, drop the head. To close, I'm going to offer a few options. One is, if you know how to do plow and shoulder stand, for an inversion, do that. And I've shown in class the wall plow, which is nice to take the feet right to the back of the wall instead of to the floor behind you. And push into the wall to move this fascia, or taking the towel roll and wedging it to open the back. It's like doing forward fold on your back. From there, you can go to Viparita Karani or a few breaths. So that's one option. That's a nice one for, I think, for beginners or intermediates. The other one is to set up into the wall, legs up the wall with a very wide strap, so that what I'm going to end up having is a split up against the wall. So get into the wall with the towel roll near it. Hip goes up against the wall. You roll up into the wall. This is for more of the advanced students. You take your Supta Baddha Konasana and you take the strap into the legs. You take them out and chill. So you can stay there as long as you want in either of those inversions. They're good to do. Or start to come down, roll to one side, and we'll close off class for the morning. Sitting in an appropriate way, done a lot of work in the fronts of the hips and shoulders, so hopefully you can feel these hip flexors a little more open, and the back ribs, all the ribs coming up, so the chest is open but soft. And this is tricky because yoga students tend to get a little puffy chested. And so we want to energetically drop the heart down, bring the palms together, maintaining a sense of buoyancy and gravity and groundedness.